Have you ever wondered why some people in their 70s can still walk briskly, lift light objects with ease, and haven't caught a cold in years, while others struggle with a cane, suffer from constant pain, and rely on medication every single day? Is it just luck, or is there something more to it? According to statistics from the Arthritis Foundation, 1 out of every 2 people over the age of 65 lives with persistent joint pain every day. Many believe that pain is simply an unavoidable part of getting older. But what I am about to share with you today might make you think differently. It is not a medication. It is not an expensive treatment either. It is just a few gentle, simple habits that you can do right at home. These are habits that I and many others have maintained for years. They have significantly improved our mobility, reduced our pain, helped us sleep better, and made us feel healthier from the inside out. And there is solid evidence from trusted institutions like Harvard and the National Institutes of Health that support this. So, if you ever feel like your body is weakening a little more each day, please watch this video until the end. I believe what you are about to hear could change how you care for your body, once and for all. Exercise 1: the spine awakening ritual. When I was younger, I never paid much attention to my back. I believed the spine would function well on its own, as long as I didn't get into an accident. But once I turned 60, I began to notice a quiet yet clear change. My back would feel stiff every morning. It became harder to sit up, and even bending down to tie my shoes made me uncomfortable. At first, I assumed it was just normal aging, but then I began to wonder, why is it that some seniors can still bend down to plant flowers, do yoga, or play with their grandchildren with such flexibility? While I felt like I had a wooden board strapped to my back, I started looking for answers, not through textbooks, but by listening to my own body. And I discovered something very simple yet powerful. The way you wake up in the morning can determine the quality of your entire day. Many older people, when they wake up, get out of bed too quickly. They rush to the bathroom or the kitchen without realizing that their spine is still asleep. Standing up too suddenly without the right preparation can cause a drop in blood pressure, dizziness, or even falls. According to a report from the National Institute on Aging, most falls in older adults occur in the morning, within an hour of waking up. And the reason is quite simple: the body is not yet ready to move. I decided to change how I start my day. Instead of jumping out of bed, I stay lying down for a few more minutes, with my eyes still closed. I focus on my breathing. Then, I gently turn my head to the left, hold it for one breath, and then to the right, and hold it for another. This small movement helps awaken the nerves around my neck. Next, I pull both knees toward my chest, give myself a gentle hug, and rock side to side. It feels like I am comforting my own spine, sometimes. I imagine I'm holding a child in my arms, except that child is my own aging body, needing care, love, and gentleness. After a few minutes, I release my arms, let my back relax, and notice how my spine feels longer and less stiff. Then I slowly roll to one side, push myself up with my hands, and sit up quietly. There is no force, no rush. Every movement is intentional. It becomes a ritual, a purposeful beginning. The amazing thing is, after just 1 week of doing this morning ritual, I felt a noticeable difference. The stiffness in my back disappeared. I no longer felt pain when bending. Even my breathing became deeper and more comfortable. What surprised me most was how much calmer I felt. I no longer woke up with dread, but with peace, as if my body was smiling from being treated kindly. Researchers have found similar results. A study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy showed that older adults who performed gentle spine activation movements in the morning had significantly lower risk of falling, better posture, and greater mental alertness throughout the day. But what convinced me most was not the numbers. It was the personal experience. I feel it every morning. I no longer wake up like a machine. I wake up like a human being, with mindfulness and gratitude for my body. Someone once asked me, "Just a few movements like that, can it really make a difference?" And I smiled. It is not the big things that change your life. It is the small things, repeated daily with care, that truly make a difference. I do not need a gym. I do not need a trainer. I do not need any equipment. All I need is my own bed and a mind willing to listen to my body. I call this ritual spine awakening because it not only wakes up the muscles and joints around my spine, but it also wakes up the life within me. When I begin my day by honoring my body, everything else feels lighter. I walk more steadily. I am no longer afraid of falling or unexpected pain. I feel in control of myself, even in my 70s. And you can do this too. Whether you are in your 60s or have passed 80, whether you are healthy or struggling with movement. Every morning, before you set foot on the floor, give your body just 3 minutes. 3 minutes with no rushing, no pressure, just breathing, gentle motion, and gratitude. If you ever wake up with a back stiff as a board, if you have felt dizzy sitting up, or have fallen just after getting out of bed, try changing the way you start your day. You have nothing to lose, and so much to gain. Flexibility, safety, alertness, and most importantly, the sense that you are loving and caring for yourself in the simplest way possible. Exercise 2, the 4-7-8 breath. I used to think breathing was the most natural thing in the world, something you didn't have to learn. As long as you're alive, you breathe. But I was wrong. For many years, I breathed shallowly, quickly, and without awareness. Only when my health began to shift did I realize that breathing could be the key to recovery. And sometimes, it is even more powerful than medicine. I remember clearly when I was 68 years old, it was a time when nothing was seriously wrong, but I didn't feel right either. I wasn't sick, but I was always tired. My body felt heavy. My mind was foggy, and my sleep was shallow and easily disturbed. I went to the doctor, did all the tests, but everything came back normal. It could just be your age, the doctor said. But I couldn't accept that answer. I felt like my body was calling out for help. I just didn't yet understand its language. One afternoon, I came across an article about a breathing technique called 4-7-8. It sounded very simple. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and exhale for 8 seconds. I thought to myself, something that simple, how special could it be? But then I figured, if it costs nothing and has no side effects, why not give it a try? That night, I sat at the edge of my bed, placed my hands gently on my knees, and closed my eyes. I inhaled softly through my nose, counting to 4, then I held my breath for 7 seconds, without straining, just feeling the air filling my chest. Finally, I exhaled slowly through my mouth for 8 seconds, as if releasing all the tiredness I had carried throughout the day. I repeated the cycle 4 times, then lay down. I didn't expect any miracles, but the next morning, I woke up without the usual cloud of gloom. My body didn't feel drastically different, but my mind felt lighter. It was as if someone had cleared a bit of the fog in my head, allowing a little light to shine through. I kept practicing this every morning and every evening. It only took a few minutes, but after a week, I was sleeping more deeply, waking up fewer times at night, and no longer feeling drained in the morning. After 2 weeks, I noticed my digestion was better. I ate less, felt fuller, and didn't feel bloated anymore. After a month, I almost stopped snapping over little things. Everything felt slower, clearer, and I felt like I had regained control over myself. I did more research and learned the science behind this quiet miracle. The 4-7-8 breath helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of our body responsible for rest, recovery, and digestion. When we live under constant stress, the body stays in a state of alert, the heart beats faster, blood pressure rises, the immune system gets suppressed. But when we focus on deep, intentional breathing like 4-7-8, we send a message to the body. You are safe now. You can relax. And that's when the healing begins. A study from Harvard University showed that seniors who practiced regular breathing techniques not only experienced significantly reduced stress, but also improved immunity, sleep quality, and blood pressure. But for me, the most powerful change was the inner calm, not the calm around me, but the calm within. Before this, every morning I would wake up and immediately start thinking about all the things I had to do, the worries I hadn't solved, the tangled relationships. It was like a muddy stream after a storm, but with this breathing rhythm, I learned how to pause, to let the water settle. Just a few quiet minutes helped me begin the day with a completely different state of mind. I often tell my friends this: breathing is the only action we can control both physically and mentally. You cannot command your heart to slow down or your blood vessels to expand, but you can control your breath, and when you do it right, the rest of your body adjusts on its own. Since I adopted the 4-7-8 breath, I no longer catch colds like I used to. The first chills of the season no longer leave me exhausted. My mind feels less scattered, my sleep deeper. Even my skin seems brighter, no longer dull from months of insomnia. People say I look younger than my age, but what I feel most clearly is not about age. It is about being fully alive from the inside out. I share this not to boast, but to invite you to try it too. Whether you're dealing with heart issues, poor sleep, anxiety, or simply want to feel more balanced, take a few minutes each day to breathe. No equipment needed, no complicated methods. Just sit still, listen, and be with yourself. You can start tonight, before bed. Sit quietly for a moment. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 7 seconds. Exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. Do it 4 times, gently and without pressure. It's not exercise. It's a way of telling your body that it is being cared for, that it is loved. And that feeling, more than any medicine, is what truly nurtures lasting health. Exercise 3, the hand opening ritual. There's a moment in my life I will never forget, even though it lasted only a few seconds. I was standing at my front door, holding a bunch of keys. It was something I had done every day for decades. But that day, I dropped the keys. I bent down to pick them up, and I dropped them again. My hands were no longer responding the way they used to. My fingers trembled. They lacked the strength to grip even a tiny object. I wasn't suffering from any major illness. I hadn't had an injury. But right then, I felt as though I had taken one more step down the staircase called aging. From that day on, I began to pay more attention to my hands. Small tasks like twisting off a bottle cap, buttoning a shirt, or writing a short note all seemed more difficult than before. I used to believe that strong legs and a straight back were enough to stay independent as I grew older. But I soon realized that the hands were just as important. Hands do more than help us hold things. They are how we connect with the world. A handshake, a hug, brushing a grandchild's hair. All these things require hands that are strong and flexible. I began to observe the older people around me more closely. Many of them also had weaker hands, stiff fingers, and trembling grips. Some could no longer hold a bowl and had to be fed by others. Some stopped writing altogether because their handwriting had become too shaky. The more I noticed, the more I realized that when a person's hands weaken, their independence in daily life starts to slip away too. And so I began a journey to regain strength in my hands. I didn't turn to expensive exercise equipment or complicated routines. I simply started each morning with an action I had never thought of as important before opening and closing my hands. When we're young, we do this hundreds of times a day without thinking. But in old age, even the smallest movement requires attention. Each morning, before I brush my teeth or pick up a spoon for breakfast, I sit still for a moment. I raise both hands in front of me and gently stretch all my fingers as wide as I can, as if letting light pass through every gap. Then I slowly close my hands into full fists. I don't squeeze tightly, but firmly, and I hold them for a few seconds. After that, I release the fists just as slowly, opening my palms like a flower blooming. I do this 10 times. Not fast, not forceful. Just 10 gentle repetitions with my full attention on my hands. At first, I didn't feel much, but after a few days, I noticed that my fingers were less stiff in the morning. I no longer felt like I was losing control when picking up small items. Gradually, I could hold a pen again. Opening a jar lid no longer felt like a battle. But more valuable than anything was the sense that I could still manage the little things in life on my own. I read a study from the Journal of Applied Gerontology in the United States. It showed that exercises aimed at improving hand strength significantly increased the ability of older adults to care for themselves and improved their overall quality of life. In fact, grip strength is now considered one of the most accurate predictors of longevity in the elderly. People with weaker grip strength are at a higher risk of cognitive decline, cardiovascular disease, and loss of independence in daily activities. That result didn't surprise me. I could feel the link between my hands and my overall health every day. When my hands were more flexible, I could do more. When I could cook, button my shirt, or write a letter on my own, I felt useful. I felt valued. And that feeling gave me more strength than any medicine ever could. What I want to share with you is not a miracle method. It is just one small action, done each morning, every day. You don't need anything other than your own hands and a few quiet minutes. When you open your hands, you are not only stretching the muscles and joints, you are telling your body that you are still here, still in control. When you gently close your hands, you are reminding your nervous system that strength and willpower are still present. And the beauty of this exercise is that it does not depend on age, gender, or physical condition. Whether you are in a wheelchair, recovering from surgery, or simply turning 70, you can still do this. You can practice while waiting for water to boil, while watching TV, or while talking to family. You don't need special tools or large spaces. You just need to give your hands a little attention each day. Now, as I sit writing these words, I know that each letter I form is the result of hundreds of silent repetitions of opening and closing my hands. I know I cannot stop time, but I can choose how I face it. And I choose mindfulness. I choose small, consistent actions. I choose not to give up in the face of aging. So if you've ever felt afraid to hold something fragile, if you've dropped a cup and felt frustrated, if your hands shake when holding something small, I invite you to begin tomorrow. Open your hands slowly. Hold that stretch for a few seconds, then close them gently, with intention. Do it 10 times, every morning. See what happens after a week, after a month. You don't need to believe me. Let your own hands show you the results. Exercise 4, walking as medicine. There was a time when I thought walking was simply a way to get from one place to another, like going to the market, the post office, or just strolling around the yard to ease boredom. But one day, I sat by the window and looked out at the small road in front of my house. The afternoon light was soft, children were running and playing. A few middle-aged folks walked by in a hurry, and I suddenly realized it had been a long time since I had stepped outside just to walk. I don't remember exactly when I started moving less. Maybe it was after a mild knee injury, or perhaps after a long winter break. But whatever the reason, the result was that my body felt heavier, my memory became foggier, and my emotions would easily spiral downward. Even though I still ate regularly and got enough sleep, I felt like I was stuck, not stuck in the house, but inside my own body. One morning, after finishing my usual 4-7-8 breathing practice, I made a decision. I opened the door, stepped outside, and started walking. No goal, no timer, no music in my ears. I simply walked. To feel the ground beneath my feet, to hear the crunch of dry leaves, to sense the wind brushing my sleeves, and to find out what might happen if I let myself move with no reason other than to feel alive. At first, it was just 5 minutes. My knees creaked, my calves tightened, but I didn't force myself. The next day, I walked again. 6 minutes, then 7. A week later, I was walking 15 minutes each morning without feeling tired or sore, and I began to look forward to those moments every day. Not because my health improved immediately, but because I felt released from the sluggishness clouding my mind. I was more alert, more clear-headed, and more at ease with small tasks like cooking, answering the phone, or remembering to bring my glasses when I went out. I remembered a saying, "Movement is medicine," and truly, walking became my remedy, physically, mentally, and emotionally. My body stopped resisting motion. My joints felt more flexible. My sleep deepened. And something surprising happened. The things that used to worry me, like bills, doctor appointments, or family problems, no longer overwhelmed me the way they used to. It felt like every step helped me place each worry gently along the sidewalk, freeing me to move forward with ease. I did some reading and discovered that I wasn't the only one who felt this way. A study by Stanford University found that walking outdoors for just 20 minutes a day boosts creativity and improves focus in older adults. Another study from the British Journal of Sports Medicine showed that regular walking significantly reduces inflammation in the body, a key contributor to many chronic conditions like joint pain, high blood pressure, and cognitive decline. But beyond the data, I trusted what I had experienced. Walking didn't make me young again, but it made me feel alive, rather than just existing. It took me out of the cramped space of overthinking and reconnected me with my body, where every feeling begins. When I walked mindfully, not in a rush, not for any purpose other than to breathe and feel each step, I felt my presence more clearly than ever. I didn't walk fast, I didn't walk far, but I walked consistently, each morning. After gently warming up, I would put on a windbreaker and step outside, rain or shine. I tried to keep this habit. On rainy days, I walked under the covered walkway in my yard. When it was cold, I added a scarf. Sometimes I walked with my grandchild. Other times, I walked alone, in silence and peace. Each step reminded me that my body still had the ability to move, to enjoy the world around me. I felt my blood circulating better. My skin looked rosier. My heart beat steadily. I no longer felt rushed by life. Every day, just a short walk, just a few minutes for myself, was enough to reset my entire mental state. If you're reading this and thinking you're not strong enough to walk, let me tell you this: no one starts with long strides. Every journey begins with a first step. You can walk inside your house, from one room to another, around the dining table, down the hallway. Every step matters. It's not about speed, it's about consistency. It's not about distance, it's about presence. Try stepping outside tomorrow morning. Take a deep breath, feel your feet touch the ground, listen to your own heartbeat, and walk, even just for a few minutes. Give your body the chance to move, to breathe in the outdoor air, to be reminded that it still has the strength to carry you forward, not just physically, but in life itself. Exercise 5, the magic chair routine and final reflection. There is something most of us take for granted, until the moment we can no longer do it. That is the act of standing up from a chair. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But I remember very clearly the first time I had to press my hands against the table just to get up. It was an ordinary morning. I was sitting on the kitchen chair, about to stand up and get a glass of water. But when I tried to rise like I always had, my legs didn't respond as expected. I stumbled slightly and had to lean my whole body against the table to regain my balance. At that moment, I wasn't in pain, I wasn't ill, but I knew I had just lost a part of my strength that had always been there without question. I call it silent erosion. It doesn't arrive like a sudden injury. It comes quietly, bit by bit. Each day of inactivity, each hour of sitting without noticing. And then one day, when you need your body to perform a simple task, it doesn't respond the way it used to. I began thinking about exercise, but I didn't enjoy going to the gym. I didn't own any special equipment, and I wasn't young anymore to try intense workouts. I needed something gentle, simple, and something I could do every day in my very own kitchen. That's when I discovered what I now call the magic chair routine. Each morning, after walking, I sit on my familiar wooden kitchen chair, the same one where I've eaten breakfast for years. But now, it became the place where I started rebuilding lost strength. I sit with my back straight, both feet flat on the floor, spaced about shoulder width apart. Then, I slowly lift my right leg, hold it for about 3 seconds, and lower it gently. Then the left, 5 times for each leg. Not fast, not forceful, just mindful attention to every movement. In the beginning, even holding one leg up for a few seconds made my thigh muscles tremble, but I stayed with it. After 1 week, I could hold my legs longer without feeling tired. Then I added a new movement. I stretched both arms straight forward, parallel to the ground, lifted them gently, held for a few seconds, then brought them down. I did this 10 times each morning. No weights, no resistance bands, just my own body and my full awareness. Gradually, I began to notice something wonderful. I could stand up from the chair more easily. I didn't need to press my hands down or strain my knees. I started going to the market without needing to rest halfway. Some days, I could even carry a small bag of rice from the car into the house without losing my breath. I felt stronger, not with the vigor of youth, but with the steady resilience of a body that knows how to adapt and recover. I shared this experience with my geriatric doctor. He smiled and said, "You're doing functional training. These are exercises that help the body carry out everyday movements, like sitting, standing, bending, or twisting, without difficulty." According to a study in the Journal of Clinical Gerontology, simply lifting your legs and arms while seated for 10 minutes a day can reduce fall risk in seniors by more than 30% and significantly improve lower body strength after 6 weeks. But for me, the numbers mattered less than the feeling of being able to stand up from a chair without help, the feeling of holding a pot of soup and placing it gently on the table without shaking, the quiet confidence of stepping outside the house without thinking, "What if I fall?" It all started with a kitchen chair and 10 minutes each day. I shared this routine with a few friends my age. Some could barely lift one leg for 2 seconds. Some needed to hold on to the chair for support. But after 2 weeks, every one of them said the same thing. "I once thought I didn't expect something this simple to be so effective." I understand we can't completely stop aging, but we can slow it down. More importantly, we can preserve our independence, the ability to stand up, to walk, to do what we want without needing someone else. That kind of freedom is priceless, though often unnoticed by the young. But to me, it is the reason I return to my kitchen chair every morning. It is my way of telling my body, we are still strong, we are still living, not just surviving. If you're reading this and wondering, can I really do this? The answer is yes. You don't need to be strong, you just need to be willing. Sit in your favorite chair, plant your feet firmly on the floor, gently lift one leg, stretch your arms forward, do it with slow breaths and full attention. Don't compare, don't rush, don't expect instant results, just do it. A little each day. Your body will begin to heal in ways you never imagined. Looking back on more than 30 years of maintaining my health without medication, I've come to realize that true strength does not come from big changes. It comes from small choices, repeated day after day. It's the 3 minutes I spend awakening my spine each morning, the slow mindful breaths that bring calm to my mind, the gentle movements of my hands and legs, the walk around the yard that reconnects me with life. None of these habits require me to be young again. They only require me to be present, to be consistent, and to believe that my body still has a chance to improve. Growing older doesn't mean we stop living. It is simply an invitation to live more slowly, more deeply, and with more gratitude for the body we have. Every time you rise from a chair with confidence, every time you open a jar or walk without needing support, that is a victory. No one else may feel that quiet joy, but you will. And if today you are struggling with pain, fatigue, or a sense of helplessness, let me tell you this, you are not alone. Every one of us has been there. And every small step, no matter how tiny, is the beginning of a new path. You don't have to change everything at once. Pick one thing, just one, and begin. Maybe it's a few mindful breaths in the morning. Maybe it's a small chair routine in your kitchen. The most important part is to begin. Begin with love for yourself. Begin by caring for your body the way you once cared for your children and grandchildren. Remember, it is never too late to get stronger. It is never too late to feel valuable. If you found today's message helpful, don't forget to click like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future videos. And if you've tried any of these 5 exercises, share your experience in the comments below. Which one do you practice daily? Which one brought you the most noticeable change? I am always ready to listen to your journey, because every little story can become a source of inspiration for someone just beginning. Wishing you strength, peace, and control over your body every day. See you in the next video.